I really hope this video will become your gentle reminder that nervous system regulation isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And taking care of yourself doesn't mean you'll be calm all the time. You don't have to be calm all the time. That's not what I'm going to share today. Resetting and regulating your nervous system is all about being able to return to yourself, to your body, to the present moment when the world inevitably pulls you away. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Veronika, and this space is all about helping you reconnect with yourself, feel more grounded, and live a softer life. While I was putting this video together, I realized that I really wanted to summarize everything I'm sharing with you today in a visual, practical way. So I designed a free nervous system regulation menu. It's a simple lock screen wallpaper that you can save to your phone. And it comes in two different themes, this beautiful orange one and this calm blue one. Just one simple glance at your screen and you'll be able to pick an item from this menu to come back to yourself when you need it most. If you want to get this wallpaper, it's absolutely free. The link to download it is going to be in the description below. Okay, so let's start with this one big area. Move it out of your body. Because I am an overthinker, and so I often find myself trapped in these cycles of constant rumination. You know, overthinking about things that have gone wrong, that might go wrong, or could go wrong. And so that is why the first thing that really helps me regulate my nervous system when I'm feeling overwhelmed is walking. For me, it's essentially a moving meditation that is completely free. And you know, sometimes when I take walks, I obviously like to listen to music. Maybe I'm in a bad mood and I listen to my favorite playlist, or maybe I listen to a podcast to just think about something else. And all of those things are great. But I feel like in the past, I always thought that I had to be listening to something while walking. Like I almost never took silent walks because I really wanted to fill my free time with useful activities. Like I literally had no quiet time when my brain had space and time to just think freely. And if you can choose routes for your walks when you kind of have more nature around you, that is going to be even more amazing, because walking in nature activates biophilia, which means love of life. I learned about this concept from this book, The Anxious Generation, and in this video in general, I'm gonna be sharing a lot of the ideas from this book, because even though it talks a lot about raising kids and like our childhood and how the internet and social media influences all of that, it also shares a lot of good quality research on how to work with our nervous system and how we can help ourselves reset and work with our emotions. So biophilia, or love of life, is this innate human tendency to connect with nature and other living things. That is why a lot of us love going on hikes or maybe going to the ocean. Being surrounded by nature is just a very soothing feeling. And I like how the author of this book shares that I now take my AirPods out of my ears when I'm walking in any park or natural setting. I no longer try to cram as many audiobooks and podcasts at 1.5 times normal speed as my brain can receive. Okay, so the next thing here is going to be yoga, because yoga doesn't just stretch your body, it actually changes your brain chemistry. There's a common chemical in your brain called GABA, and it helps reduce anxiety. One study found that after just 1 hour of yoga, people had a big increase in GABA levels, while people who just sat and read quietly didn't. And the researchers also found that people who practice yoga for 12 weeks felt less anxious and in a better mood, and it was directly linked to that increase in GABA. Because when I go and practice yoga after a very good class, I often feel this like buzz, this like very pleasant feeling. When I read the study, I was like, oh, here is why. Like, it's not just in my head, it's like literally happening in my brain. Well, it's in my head, right? Because it's happening in my brain, but you know what I mean. Okay, and finally here, let's talk about expressive movement. And that is pretty much every single time you kind of shake out your body, shake out your limbs, you stretch freely, you sway to music a little bit, you kind of let your body move however it wants to. Even right now, I'm recording this YouTube video, and in a lot of cases, I just sit still. Like, I do sit cross-legged, but I really don't change my body position that much. And once I actually just move a little bit on my chair or just like change the position of my legs, it doesn't take a lot of time. It's like a very quick reset that you can do to come back to your body and like feel your body again instead of ruminating and thinking about things over and over again. Okay, now let's move on to the next big area and talk about your sensory regulation rituals. Because if I can't overthink my way out, I have to feel my way out. The first little thing you can do here is breath work. Honestly, that is also the reason why I love yoga so much, because when I go to my regular hatha yoga practices, we always start by doing at least a little bit of breath work. There are honestly so many different techniques to practice mindful breathing, and I highly recommend either watching YouTube videos where people can actually explain what you need to do and how you need to do it, or you can also use apps like Calm and Open. I think the app Open is like becoming very popular right now. I see a lot of people using it online. Personally, I really like how doing different breath work techniques and exercises helps me train my consciousness to be quiet, at least for a little bit, at least for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes. Because our lives are pretty much phone-based right now. And a phone-based life is a never-ending series of notifications, alerts, and distractions, and all of that is fragmenting our consciousness and actually training us to fill every moment of consciousness with something from our phones, with something from our iPads, computers, social media, our TV, like absolutely everything. We're actually training ourselves to be constantly distracted because of this constant flood of notifications. The next thing here is humming and soft singing. Sometimes when I work, what I do is like I kind of hum a song that I really like, or I can even sing. I think I really like this feeling probably because when I'm doing breath work, there is this like ocean breath. But I still decided to include it for you guys. Hopefully it's gonna be useful. So the next thing you can do here is listening to soothing soundscapes like ocean waves or hand-pan music. Listening to nature sounds in general is really, really calming because I honestly think it also activates this love of life that we have, biophilia. I don't live by the ocean, so I can't really listen to ocean waves every single day, like in real life. So I listen to soothing soundscapes because they remind me of that feeling of being in nature and just feeling this connection to the world. The next thing here is aromatherapy with essential oils. Scents can really take me to a very specific memory or a very specific state. You know how people say lavender is a very calming scent, so when you go to bed, if you have this like lavender oil, you can put it on your wrists or maybe like behind your ears. Alright, now let's move on to this next big thing that you can do. Empty your mind. And the way that I like to empty my mind is by journaling or brain dumping all of my ideas. I think for me, journaling really provides this safe outlet to dump out all of my worries, all of my fears, and all of my racing thoughts on paper, which kind of signals my nervous system that those concerns are being handled. Like, I haven't forgotten about them, instead of just constantly ruminating and constantly thinking about them in my head. Also, another thing that I recently started doing is voice recording all of my concerns. Obviously, guys, ChatGPT is not a licensed professional, but what I really like about it is that it can give me a journaling prompt. Sometimes you just feel like you want to talk about everything, and because of that, you feel like you want to talk about nothing. And so in those moments when I don't really know how to start or what what to write about, I ask ChatGPT to give me like a random journaling prompt. Sometimes I create a voice note with my situation and I ask ChatGPT, can you help me create a journaling prompt based on my situation? So technically in those moments, ChatGPT is not giving me any advice, but it helps me get started with journaling and with writing down all of my thoughts on paper. Okay, now let's move on to this next big area, protecting your inputs. And the first point here is obviously going to be social media. Your nervous system can really regulate if you're constantly overstimulated. If you're constantly on social media receiving a bunch of different notifications every single day. If I think about my parents' generation, they had a completely different childhood. I'm a Gen Z and I grew up with constant connectivity with Instagram, with social media, with the internet, with my smartphone, and all of that completely changed my childhood. And social media in particular, it's designed to grab your emotional brain. Honestly, it often feels like you're riding an emotional roller coaster when you're being online. The phone-based life makes it difficult for people to be fully present with others when they're with others, and to sit silently with themselves when they're alone. If we want to experience stillness and silence, and if we want to develop focus and a sense of unified consciousness, we must reduce the flow of stimulation into our eyes and ears. We must find ample opportunities to sit quietly, whether that is in meditation or by spending more time in nature, or just by looking out a car window and thinking on a long drive rather than always listening to something, or for children in the back seat, watching videos the whole way. Okay, now let's talk about your sleep. And I think quality sleep is very important when we talk about regulating your nervous system, resetting your nervous system, because when I don't get enough sleep, I just don't feel good. And here, I know a lot of people always talk about, getting enough sleep when it comes to the hours, like how long you actually sleep. But I have also found that for me, a consistent sleeping schedule is absolutely foundational for my nervous system regulation. Yes, my body and my brain, they need downtime to rest and to reset. But also, that needs to be happening consistently. Let's say I go to sleep at 12 and I sleep for 8 hours, so I wake up at 8. Honestly, that is going to feel different to me than if I go to sleep at 10 and wake up at 6. I like to be in bed by like 9:30, reading my book, kind of getting ready to sleep, like having all of my lights dimmed and having this relaxing atmosphere. At 12 a.m., I feel so freaking tired already that I don't give myself all of this time to actually unwind and get ready for sleep, because all I want to do is fall asleep as fast as possible. Okay, now let's talk about caffeine, because that is something that I see so often online on social media. I feel like right now, energy drinks especially, they look so cute, they look so enticing, and that really makes us want to be a part of that aesthetic. For example, energy drinks like Alani, Bloom, and Celsius, they all look really cute. They taste really good, and a lot of us get so used to consuming all of that on a daily basis, we don't even ask ourselves this question, like, why am I drinking this energy drink right now? For a lot of us, it's aesthetics, or we feel like we literally cannot function without it. And for me personally, I don't like this feeling. If I feel like I can't function without coffee, then that is not for me. Then I'm going to cut down on coffee. I'm going to stop drinking coffee. I mean, I personally don't drink coffee like ever. I drink coffee, it makes my heart race, and that makes me think that I'm anxious, and because of that, it makes me feel anxious. Also here, a very important thing that I absolutely have to mention is eating well, because I can't do a fasted workout. If I wake up, I don't have breakfast, and I go and do something like a workout or I start working, I absolutely need to have a good breakfast. Exercising on an empty stomach just doesn't feel good for me. If I know that it's going to be a very hard yoga practice where I'm going to be sweating a lot, where I'm going to be really pushing myself and focusing on building my strength, I need food before that. Like, I need to get this energy from somewhere. Honestly, the same thing happens to me when I have these deep focused work blocks. I also have to eat before that. And if for you, eating before exercising, it's not really something that you like doing, make sure that at least you eat well after your workout, because a lot of us, we exercise, we go take a shower, we get ready, and then an hour passes, 2 hours, and we still haven't eaten anything. Okay, and finally, let's move on to our big area number 5 that can help us reset and regulate our nervous system. And that is, you don't have to do it alone. Today, I mentioned a lot of great self-soothing techniques because sometimes we don't have other people to rely on. We're traveling or at work and we don't really have anyone to share our feelings and emotions with. But sometimes the safest thing you can do for your nervous system is being with another person, talking to another person. You don't always have to soothe yourself and regulate your nervous system all by yourself. You can spend time with people who are important to you, talk to them about your worries and fears. You can get a pet. This feeling of like touching fur of an animal, it's extremely soothing. So this safe co-regulation is extremely important as well. So I think it's going to be it for today's video. If you liked it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you want to get access to my regulation menu wallpaper, you can do so completely for free. Just click the link in the description, share your email with me, and I'll send you the wallpaper, the link to download it in 2 different themes, this orange one and the calming blue one. And also I'll add you to my free weekly newsletter, Veronika's Weekly Vibes. When I focus on regulating my nervous system, I feel like I get closer to me. I think these are the moments when I practice self-love. So if you want to see why I think you need more love in your life, not more discipline, willpower, and pushing yourself to do more and more and more, make sure to click right here and learn why I think devotion is so much more powerful than discipline.